what that theory emerges. So this is my opinion.
If I may carry on to what Alan is telling, that it is a process.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we start the process? In what way? How do we start it? From where? Or I say, suppose the data collected, how we start it and how, where do we end that?
We start from an old theory and then we test that and see whether it is applicable or not.
And for this we will do the iteration to see what are the old facts.
I believe we have to see what's the problem first, why we want to, what we want to go for.
I think there should be a research question first. According to this question, then you choose your person or something, and then you go forward
Forward to what?
to collect your data.
Okay. How is the process of collecting data is take place? How?
Methods, data collected from methods, and the main method is in-depth interview. And there are different kinds of interview, unstructured, structured, and unstructured.
So in other words, we are not going to analyze in a quantitative manner, but rather in a qualitative manner, where there may be, as she said, through interview, in-depth interview, but there may be some sort of judgment contrary to some, like in statistical methods, this is what you're getting, that's different. Here we have some element of judgment in that analysis of when you collect eventually when you analyze it.
And also after interviewing the people, we have to look at the data that is being collected at the same time while conducting the interview, so that we know when data is saturated, when we have collected all our information, so that instead we can continue to keep on posing new questions to the participants.
So just to add on what she's saying, probably it's the same. Concurrently, you are gathering information and some analysis is being done at the same time.
I believe the method we're going to use to look for the information will be first the question. No, the question will determine which type of method we're going to use. Whether we're going to do it to get information or going to do survey.
After choosing the method, then we proceed to...
Yes, for collecting the data.
Okay. Any specific place, any specific point where we stop the data collection?
Saturation.
Saturation, the data saturation.
New ideas coming out from
Which means that at the beginning, contrary to survey method, at the beginning we don't know. The researcher doesn't know when to stop. It's through the process where you have an iterative process, and at a point of time when, as you were saying, we reach a saturation point, we know that we don't, new ideas will not emerge, so it's, we have to reach to end.
Okay.
And as we are looking for the grounded theory, so we have to, in case we are not getting enough information, we have to go to do further research by getting new participants. And when there's saturation, then we can say, so we stop.
And sometimes you can get new research questions. The research questions can be modified to adjust to what we are saying.
Let me interrupt this discussion just to remind you of something maybe my friend Ravi will forget to mention. There are some refreshments there and some drinks. Feel free at any time you want to just get up and have a kind of just a break. feel free, everything is yours there.
And this is also one of the benefits of participating in the program.
Sure. So it's good, it's good. If you're having, so if you're feeling a bit thirsty or want something to eat, just feel free. Okay,
Thank you.
so we carry on? Okay? Now, referring to what you said, that you have collected the data, now, how do you go about again? What continues, what follows after the collection of data? We have stopped somewhere, we have stopped collecting. Now, what do we do with that? How to proceed?
Actually, the data collection should have the analysis part of it because you have the data, of course, part of it you have analyzed. But then the formal analysis, I presume, should follow, which is the logical sequence.
And in analysis, there are 3 steps that should be followed. It's the open coding, the actual coding, and the sealed coding. In the open coding, we put the units into groups. Then from the groups, we have categories. And then from the categories, there are the themes that emerge from it. So after grouping everything, then we will know what to analyze and what to eliminate from the data.
How is the condition? You should group the results that you have to, the things to come.
And the coding is also critical here because you have collected the data in the form of interview, and level of research you have written and that you get so many information, and that coding part, maybe the use of software might help initially, and that becomes critical, that coding part, the codification.
I agree with what Ananda said, and it's okay.
Okay, I agree with all the answers.
If we are doing the analysis, how do we reach a point where we say, okay, now what we do next? What is the step forward? Should we stop, or what we do with after doing the coding process? What is the next step? Like you were telling about inductive, it's an inductive approach where new theories, you have a new theory. How the theory is constructed, how the theory emerges in grounded theory.
I think we have to see how many people they have come with the same answer, the same idea. Then we can make we can come to an agreement that this is a particular idea, everyone is agreeing. So that will be the thing.
So then we have
There are sentences or phrases or words which come frequently during the interviews with different persons. So these words or sentences which are repetitive, we take them out, and I think out of it we can build some concepts first, and then we can do a theory.
It's from the theme of the theory we emerge. It's from the theme that we get.
So I believe when all the information are gathered and codified, based on that, when we group all these together, something will emerge from that, and that something becomes later on will be developed to a theory. It's based on objectively on what we have gathered, what data we have gathered, and group them, and ultimately, I believe, it becomes a theory.
Anything more? Anybody would like to add anything?
And from the data that we collect, we will devise a framework for that. And that framework will be the
Framework. Right, anything more? Okay. If you were to recommend this method, to a friend for his research, Do you think you would do so?
Depends on the type of research he or she is doing.
So-
Whether he is fully aware, he has the knowledge of what is the grounded theory and how he is going to proceed.
Okay. No, you have to recommend that person that to use grounded theory as a research.
Depends on-
Why would you do so if you had to recommend?
Depends on the project he is working
Yeah,
on.
naturally, the design, what you want to
It's the same
find.
thing as you have it in a toolbox, you have different tools. So we have, this is one of the tools that is available. You can use in all situations. So depending on the research problem, etc., if that's fitting, then we shall recommend that
Yeah.
researcher.
Okay.
Otherwise, there are other methods that are more appropriate, I believe.
Okay. Suppose you've decided that, okay, the research method, grounded theory is up for the research. Now, based on your experience of grounded theory, would you say, you would tell that your friend, okay, this is a good method, you use it, or you carry on with it?
Of course, yes.
Why?
Because if,
Why would
as
you
you
say
say, if it fits in that research, it addresses the objective, needs of objectives, yes, of course. But the important thing is that that person should have different skills because it's different, in my opinion, qualitative being grounded theory being a qualitative method is different from quantitative method. Qualitative here, the person will need other skills than just doing a survey and like statistical analysis. Here you are dealing with people, you are meeting these people, so it has to do with how you motivate that person because you are going to with him or her several times. So it's a question of different skills that are required. It's not just choosing one method. If it's fitting, that try, but that researcher should be sure that at the end of the day, because if you use grounded theory differently or wrongly, then your results might be flawed. So this is the advice or recommendation I would give to someone.
Also, you have the research questions. You should list yourself in the research questions
Okay.
that person is going to use. And whether he wants to have a new theory developed, then he will be going to use the grounded theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
There are sometimes you can have people only describing the data. It's not a theory coming out, the data collected or just described. They call it grounded theory. So the skills, as Anna said, is important.
And I think the person, we have to also see whether the person will have enough time to do the research, the time factor, whether he can spend more money on, because several times he has to go and meet the
In the field.
yeah, in the field.
What type of research, I would say, grounded theory is appropriate for? Any specific research, or what is your views on that? Like Anand mentioned that based on that you would choose grounded theory. Now, any specific research, any specific type of research for which we can say grounded theory is good?
Medical. I think social sciences. Any research in the social sciences would be good to use the grounded theory.
Yeah, if it's a social issue, a problem pertaining to somebody's personal problem, and it's all, yeah, social problem.
Social issues, yeah.
Behavior and audience should be in place to come up with new theory, how they react. Issues dealing with people.
Anything more? No? Anything you'd like to add? Ish?
In the medical field,
Medical field.
groups and institutions, needs, their behavior towards medicines, medications, and from that,
Merge.
I think in education also, because the students come with different type of programs. A lot of failure, a lot of absenteeism.
For example, corruption. Now, are there reasons why you would not advise somebody to use grounded theory as a method for research, according to you?
No,
I
example,
think I've already said.
for example, if we have a theory that exists, something that exists, so now what we have to do is to test the validity of that, whether that hypothesis, whether it is true or false. So there, no theory will emerge. It's a question, you have it there, and if you are taking it back to emerge a theory, this is a different, it is a rule that should not be recommended to someone.
I also think that so many theories have already been discovered and are out there in the literature. So it should be like genuine research. So sometimes if you are spending so many times, a lot of time interviewing people, gathering data, and you don't find anything, then you have lost time, money, and patience, you lose patience. Yeah.
Where there's no theory coming out, so it's useless to use the theory.
Okay. So this is, according to you, the reasons why you did not suggest somebody to go ahead with grounded theory. Any other reasons, any disadvantages?
Just give you one example to support what we are saying. Suppose we are saying that someone wants to assess whether a decent salary has an incidence and a positive impact on productivity, let's say. So if someone is conducting such research, then it is not recommended for that researcher to use this sort of method grounded theory.
Why?
Because it's something you have some inbuilt theory. So it says, literature suggests that yes, we have, but what you're saying, you're trying to test whether that it holds or not in a particular circumstance. See, you are not agreeable with that.
Just listen to you. Anybody would like to comment anything more? Any views? So there is no kind of advantages or disadvantages with regard to grounded theory for somebody to go ahead doing this research. No.
As I said, it's a tool in your toolbox.
Okay.
So where it's appropriate, you use it. It's a question of when it's appropriate, then you have the benefits of it. So if you're using the wrong tool for the wrong research, I mean, you miss your time to achieve.
Yeah. Now, in the form of summary, if I ask you how briefly you would qualify grounded theory, and if you were to use that method, what would be your views, whether you would do it, you use it or not?
So in brief, I would say that if I'll try, I won't say that I'm going to use grounded theory or not. I would say that if, depending on what is my research, what is my theme, what is my problem, what is my question, etc., then if that fits in, then I would use. Of course, yeah.
How would you qualify grounded theory?
It's okay. It's fine. It's so far that it's appropriate for that research. It is an appropriate method to conduct research.
Yeah. My research would require that I come forward with a new theory, then we will be using the grounded theory. So that depends on my research questions that project is asking for.
So in one word, you are for grounded theory.
I'm more of an ethnographical researcher. For me, grounded theory is quite challenging because I might not end up with what I thought I would end up with. I find it tough. This is my personal view. But yeah, as we were saying, there are fields where we need emerging theories to be able to solve social issues. But personally, I won't use it.
Any specific reason apart from not being about being ethnographic?
Mindset.
Yes. Any other reason?
For me, I will not use grounded theory personally, because for me it would be waste of time, because I'm not trying to discover, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, for my kind of work, research, it would be a waste of time because I'm not trying to discover a new theory. So I shouldn't do that. It will be ideal for someone who wants to discover a theory. Then it's great.
For my research, I'm doing on change management. There are lots of theories already existing. But in the future, if I become a professional researcher and I get the opportunity to find something new, of course I will use the grounded theory because I've got lots of training here. Yeah, I'll do it if I get the opportunity, of course.
Right now, I would not like to to use the grounded theory because I would like to, according to the topic I'm doing, it won't be appropriate, but it is interesting to learn it. Maybe after completing my PhD, I have another opportunity. Another PhD. No, not PhD. Not PhD. I want to help. I want to
Do research.
do research with other. I might use it with a longer time because it needs a lot of time. And right now I don't want to find new theory. I want to continue with other. I want to continue with other theories that already exist.
Already existing theories.
No, but I'm going to do further research on that.
Just one thing is, it all depends on the choice of the methodology. It depends on what epistemology and ontological stance. Then that person is where, I don't know, I mean, whether it is statistical, likes how we get crunch figures and statistics, and okay, that won't be appropriate for that person, but we have been learned that we have been trained that we should have an open mind, and I am trying to have that open mind. If my research suggests that this is required, this is the best approach, so I am an open mind, it will be fine.
Great. Anything more? So, thank you very much. Let me come. So, we thank you all for accepting and being here. It has been a wonderful time together. We have shared lots of our opinions and thoughts about views about grounded theory. It's been a very enriching time with you. Thank you very much. Feel free again. Everything is yours there. So help yourself. And thank you very much. We end this focus.